Is that a good idea? 100% yes. 100% yes. Now, recording as many videos that come to mind. As soon as they come to mind. The last couple of videos, I was just kind of laughing unexplainably in the beginning, and then I explain it later. But this one is not really all that funny. This video is more about our women, especially the modern women, getting a really bad deal. And talking about how it's deeply disturbing to think about going through that. Is it something that traditional men are offering? I would say no. I would say the bad deal is being offered by something that's not really easy to explain. So we know who we're talking about. Modern women getting a bad deal. And what we're talking about is the unexplainable things that are manifesting this bad deal so well that modern women are grasping it as if it is air and they are drowning. And the result of this bad deal is that later on, maybe when it's even a little bit too late, the realization of it being a bad deal is figured out, that the same institutions that put together this bad deal say, too bad. So what's the bad deal? The bad deal is something like this. Here's an institution that you can't really explain, that's made up of touchable and untouchable things, all kinds of people, personalities, algorithms, technologies, software, online platforms, and you put it all together and it makes this deal. And it says something like, in secret, obviously, because if it was presented like this, no one would take the deal. But the deal's presented in secret to modern women, and it sounds something like this. Take this deal, and while you're participating throughout this entire duration, what it's going to cost you is youth, time, money, and it might even cost you the inheritance of disease and trauma, and perhaps, a veil over your own eyes that you won't notice till you're in your later years. So that's the deal. That is bad. And even in more simple words, it's, hey, give us your time, money, and body. Pay into taxes. Buy all these products. You don't need anyone else. Or let's say, at the bare minimum, someone that you want to stick around and listen and talk and listen and share the highs and lows with you, so that when later happens, maybe it's not so bad. And this is a bad deal for many modern women. So what does the deal look like when it manifests as a bad deal? It might look something like this. You're a woman. You've accomplished a lot. And you've been able to pay your taxes dutifully, more than the average citizen. And around you is a structure and the material things that are quite rare even, or let's say that are just rare, not necessarily in monetary value, but they're rare and they're so meaningful to you and it took you so long to get those, and you have a position that is socially higher than the average person. So that's the surface of the deal. Okay? Now, you're one body. And that body can be at one place at a time. So as you manifest all these things and you accomplish all these things as a modern woman, and then let's say 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 rolls around and you say, whoa, well, I don't know if my body can take any more. And maybe I've made enough wise monetary decisions that I don't have to struggle with that anymore. And the things around me that are quite rare and I enjoy, they release a new version every year. Some of it I'm giving away. It doesn't really seem to matter to me that much. So everything's kind of relatively comfortable. But now I'm 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And, well, as the way I value those things is breaking down and my biology is starting to deteriorate and breaking down more or less, well, maybe it's time to not be that type of modern woman anymore and settle down. Is that a good idea? 100% yes. 100% yes. Now, that good idea, what is the quality of being able to apply it? In other words, okay, here's your good idea. As a 30, 40, or 50-year-old modern woman with comfort around them, you want to settle down. Okay, well, let me ask you these two things. Let's say settling down means at least, maybe not 2, 3, or 4, or 5, at least one other person that you want to be with you. Could we say that's included in settling down? That at least one other person that you want will be around with you? I think you would answer yes. Okay, let's unpack this one other person. Just 2 sections. Number 1, what is this other person like? Number 2, this other person, what do they want? What do they want? Here you are at your age. You structured everything you wanted your entire life. And you're 40, 30, or 50. You got everything you want. Now you want this person. What do they want? Can you do this? That's where the deal is bad. If you can't answer, I know what they want. And I know what I want in the other person. Or let's say you can. The next question you have to answer is, they're going to pick me. For a fact. 100%. If that answer to that question is not 100%, that's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. Horrible deal. Now, dear ones, are modern women who are participating in the bad deal. It's difficult to say what I think your options are, but perhaps it's something like continue participating in the best way or in a not so good way, or stop participating in the best way or in the not best way. The only other thing that would be attached to that would be when you realize it's a bad deal, are you going to keep that to yourself? Are you going to let everyone else take on this bad deal? Now, maybe in one of the videos, you might ask, well, Christopher, you're a man and you're about a year away from 40. Wouldn't you want that? Another woman who's accomplished, has a comfortable life around them, and is maybe 40, 30, 35. Wouldn't you want that? I'm not going to tell you in this video whether I would want that or what I want. That's subjective. But what I can tell you in that regard is, if what you're saying is true, there are these things. Well, what makes them who they are? In other words, is there anything that this person did that anyone else can do? And you might say yes or no. I would say, well, then what makes them different? I'm not even telling you what I want. I'm just trying to figure out what makes them different. In other words, everyone's their own human. How are you your own? How are they their own? There's a difference. In order to be your own, how are they different? So modern women have a bad deal. It's a horrible deal. And don't think for 1 second that especially traditional men don't see this. We do. And the traditional women or the sisters that might be there to help you, perhaps, well, they've got their own lives busy enough trying to fix what's going on around them. They haven't got a chance to tell you. Or the men, let's say maybe, they have an opportunity to tell you. How would they know you want to hear?